Hey, what's up? Wanna go massacre some pigs? I heard people are having withdrawal symptoms without my videos, so let's go break another grinding spot. And before you ask, but Duo, can you even grind this place efficiently? Look at your gear. Yeah, technically no, but practically yes. You see, according to the game, the minimum AP required to be here is 1130. And for the DP, well, it's simple, just don't get hit and don't grind during nighttime. I don't need to justify getting higher numbers. Look, I'm trying. See, this number here went from 7 to 14, so that's progress. But if I am to be serious, here's what I ran for this place so you can understand where my numbers are coming from. 326 AP, with all-out attack artifacts, crystals, I have knockdown resistance, the standard villa buffs, tent buffs, simple cron meal, demi-human, elixir, cause obviously, and then courage elixir, just AP stuff. If I start my combo and proc my add-ons and the self AP buff, you see there 1082, add another 20 from the missing horse buff and house buff, and then that's my AP. I ran a total of 22 successful runs, a couple more failed ones, but out of those successful runs, there were some event buffs, like the event Cheng Atom with 10 monster AP that we had, the happiness buff, which I believe is another 5 monster AP. I procced whiskey a couple of times for another 10 monster AP. Basically over testing, I didn't just have 1,100 AP, I had another, let's say, between 10 and 20 because of event buffs, bringing me very close to that minimum AP required. So what is Pig Cave? If you're new around the game or stop playing, you go to this place here, speak to this NPC, then give him one Primogem, you get teleported inside, it's an instance dungeon, and as soon as you get teleported inside, you have 25 minutes until you get automatically kicked out. That's your timer. See, AP doesn't matter, I just have to beat the 25 minutes timer. You run 6 loops around the place, you have to kill every single monster, you can't just leave them behind or let them reset, otherwise the next cycle doesn't spawn. Essentially you just do the loop, the rotation 6 times, and then after that the boss appears. He's fairly squishy, fairly easy to take down, and here's something you might not have known. The 25 minutes timer only applies to minions, so you can take your time and kill the boss. If it takes you 1 minute to kill him, although I doubt it, then it's fine. For me personally, with my gear, I came here with 4 different classes. I tried Deadeye when I was still maining Deadeye, Awakening, Dosa when I swapped to playing that one for a while. I tried Awakening Guardian when she got buffed and performed about the same, and Awakening Wusa, same, just because I felt like going back to her and because I saw that she's getting buffs this week, so I'm like, maybe I'm gonna go back to Wusa, and spoiler, yeah, I will. For me, all 4 performed exactly the same, within 1 pack of each other, so speed-wise, it seems like most classes do about the same, from my point of view, and I cleared the monsters, well, the inside in general, in about 23 minutes. 23, 24, somewhere around there. If it helps, usually I get the 5 minutes remaining pop-up timer in this pack here, specifically. 1 or 2 packs behind if I have a worse run. When the inside boss dies and you get automatically teleported outside, you have a scroll which you can use to summon the exact same boss, but stronger, and hits a bit harder. This is the, I would say, real time check, DPS check, because some people told me in chat that they cannot kill him with same or more AP than me, which was strange. For me, it was never really an issue. If you need more help, just change to back attack crystals like I did a couple of times before or after you summon the scroll. This one lasts for about 5 minutes, which just so happens to be exactly how much time you have cooldown until you can re-enter the dungeon anyway, so it does not matter how fast you kill the outside boss, you just go AFK, I suppose, if you kill him faster. For me, if I have a standard run, I usually see this 1 minute remaining pop-up message when the boss has 5% HP left. If I have a good run, I try harder, let's say, then that message doesn't appear at all. So you could say it takes me 4 minutes to kill the outside boss, making my total clearing speed for 1 run at 28-29 minutes. So I can basically do this 2 times per hour. If you look up on YouTube, you will see people clearing the inside cave in 15 minutes or less, which means 15 inside, 5 minutes outside, 20-ish minutes per run. That implies you can do this 3 times per hour with, let's say, 350, 360 AP. Really geared people can clear the Pig Cave 3 times per hour. So that's what we are gonna be discussing about today. Big cave done 2 times and 3 times per hour. So let's get into the numbers, starting with Garmoth global data. What most of you seem to get, unlucky golden pig. It sounds so bad if you say unlucky. The average seems to be 16.6 thousand trash per hour, although here's a problem. See, I personally griefed the Garmoth data myself, and I don't believe that most people here actually inputted the time it took them to clear the cave, like 27 minutes run, 26 minutes, 25, you know. I don't believe that. I expect most people to just default to 30-minute sessions, just put it as 30 and leave it like that. But you know, benefit of the doubt, everyone seems to be clearing this much faster, which makes sense because more AP than me. They make 2.2 billion per hour on yellow, and if I put Agris as well, because it's an Agris spot, 3 billion per hour with yellow plus Agris, although this is most likely wrong because I never trust Garmoth to do math properly with Agris, just like here, because Agris doesn't work on the bosses, which means you can't just straight up do math the easy way. But you know, 6 of these per hour, at least we get to see some numbers, reference point, starting point. For my own Garmoth data, these are all of the sessions, 22 in total. As I said, I trolled Garmoth by putting them all by default at 1 hour because I couldn't be bothered to change it, and at this point I'm just sticking to it. I only equalized the results in Excel, so here you see some hours, like half of them with Agris enabled, half with just yellow, and only 2 of them with Agris Coin, so I can test if it truly works on the boss, and yeah, it does. Agris Coin works just like a normal loot scroll, it works on every type of trash. As you saw earlier, I started with Deadeye, a bunch of hours, then moved into Dosa, then I tried Wusa, then I tried Guardian, 1 hour on Tamer, which I'm surprised it actually succeeded because I remember one of them failed. I just ran out of time before I was able to finish it. Then, you know, more Wusa. Assuming I can do 2 sessions per hour, then this should be 2.3 billion per hour. Already looks promising, doesn't it? 2.3, not bad. But don't worry, it gets better, because I have the power of Excel on my side. So I normalized the trash, I made everything into yellow loot scroll after figuring out how it converts from yellow plus Agris into just yellow, because as I said, Agris doesn't work on the bosses, so it's a bit not straightforward. And with the proper conversions you get to same yellow loot scroll trash per hour, but these are different, like 5.3, 10 and 11.8. This is what you should expect per session, not per hour. Conveniently, here the loot scroll scales almost perfectly, like it's almost the 50% it says it is, which usually that's not the case. In any case, per run it's almost the same as Garmoth, 1.3 billion with Agris, 1.1 with just yellow, and if I do it times 2 runs per hour, 2.7, it gets better. See, with a proper scaling it actually looks better. Now it's 2.7 billion per hour. And oh wait, no, I'm dumb. Well, it is the scaling too, but I forgot that in Garmoth I cannot add these. I dropped 1 Tricerap, 1 Tyrannosaurus ring, and 1 Tedcade ring from opening the boxes from the scroll boss. So that most likely that also adds up to the missing money per hour value. That and the ingots, which you also cannot put in Garmoth. Regardless, these are the numbers with 2 times speed, and then I can just go here and put 3 times speed, 3 sessions per hour for people who have real gear, who are supposed to grind here to begin with. They make insane money. They make 3.3 billion without Agris, because you know at some point you're gonna run out of Agris if you can do this 3 times in an hour, and 4 billion per hour with Agris, which to me sounds just broken. I can only dream of one day achieving those numbers. For Agris Efficiency, because I kept saying this place is really efficient, it basically matches Highlands. This is the only number you care about, as I mentioned many times. This is again 2 sessions per hour, so 30,000. It's about 15,000 Agris per run, so 30 if you do 2 of them per hour like me, or 45 if you do 3 of them per hour. This number doesn't change, this one doesn't scale with speed, so the efficiency will stay the same whether you do 2 or 3 sessions. Trash, monsters here drop between 12 and 20 trash each of them, so this is with yellow and Agris. Just, you know, for math purposes, it's interesting how the trash range is so big. That's why it ends up being about 49 out of 50%. The loot scroll scaling, the loot scroll efficiency is really good because the trash range is so big. Compared to other spots, as I mentioned, it basically is a copy-paste. It's the same as Izrahit Highlands, just Agris efficiency alone. This doesn't care about whatever else the spot drops. It's just Agris on its own. For the Agris coin, this one does scale with your clearing speed, and if you already saw the top entry, if you do 3 runs per hour, then it is by far the best spot in the game to use your Agris coins, because, you know, they last 1 hour, so you're not limited by how fast you clear. And if you do 2 per hour, then it's just fine. It's good. You can justify it yourself. You can look at the numbers. I don't have to be like, oh my god, it might be good or it might not be good. You have eyes, right? So, you know, it's good. It's fine. I imagine most people will land somewhere in between 2 or 3 rounds per hour. What about experience? Remember that at one point in time, not just me, but people cared about spots that gave you experience or, God forbid, skill points? Yeah, it's not at the top now. If you have to scroll all the way, look, peaks 2 times per hour and then 3 runs per hour. Yeah, the experience is pretty much garbage, and then skill points are even more garbage. I don't have here in this chart tested yet Oluns, any of them, because I seem to have a phobia of Oluns, but I have a feeling Oluns will be basically more or less the same numbers, so it sucks. For Maids, how many do you need to grind here without a horse, which is your only option because you can't really, or maybe you can. I'm pretty sure the horse teleports inside with you, but I never even checked. I actually don't know, but regardless, if you do 2 runs per hour, you need 14 Maids to not even need to check on that horse like myself. If you do 3 runs per hour, because I didn't even add this one, 3 runs per hour would be 22 Maids required. So there you go. Loot scrolls, yellow and blue versus blue. Which one should you use? It seems like the answer is blue, but we know most people will just use yellow, because at this point nowadays everyone just has so many loot scrolls they don't really care about which one is how efficient it may or may not be. TLDR for this number, basically, if you use 1 loot scroll blue, it's 100%, it's expected, you know, full value. If you use the yellow loot scroll, you do 2 times the speed, it burns 2 times faster, so on paper it should be 200%, right? So you don't lose any efficiency, but that's never the case, so that's what this number means. And with that said, I have one more chart to show you, a new one, made fairly recently. Well, I guess there's 2 of them. You have yellow loot scroll and then yellow plus Agris. I figured might as well plop in all of the spots I tested myself and see how they rank. In a, you know, ranking fashion, the words explaining, you know what I mean. Pigs 2 times per hour is about here, and then 3 times per hour is at the top of the chart, because I can't do that, so it's broken. This is unfair for me to even put it here, because everything here is tested myself with my own speed, but pigs 3 times per hour, I can grind that, that's just in theory. But hey, seems like for me personally, Darkseekers is still better, although I got RNG carried when I tested Darkseekers by dropping both a flame and a Kabwa. So make of that what you will. With Agris on, the difference is, well, judge it for yourself. From 2.7, Darkseekers seems to be 3.3 billion, and then it jumps all the way to 4 billion if you do pigs 3 times per hour. It's just interesting to see how the spots rank. And with that being said, I believe we reached the end of the video, and pigs is finished. Now I can go and read the patch notes and cry that they changed my AP buff from SLMB to F on Wusa. That kinda sucks, but they buffed everything else, so I look forward to testing a bunch of areas and see how fun Wusa used to be. Just, it brings back memories from the good old days. Conclusion, pigs are broken, especially since now it's permanently opened, the unlucky version. At least, again, from my point of view, I find this spot interesting and extremely easy because it's very simple to just not get hit. Pigs are way too slow. Just don't grind during nighttime, and look at my DP. I should not be here, but I am perfectly fine here if I just use my brain and I don't sit in the middle of the pack and face tank the damage. In terms of AP, I just have to beat the 25 minutes timer of the cave and I'm good to go. So I seem to have no issues there either. And here's the funny part, PA keeps buffing and buffing and buffing classes, giving them more on-skill damage. On-skill damage means damage that goes beyond the AP caps of the areas and beyond your actual gear. So it's gonna get easier and easier for me to grind this place in the future. Other than Darkseekers, this is the best money I've ever made. Okay, bye bye!